Sometimes questions have a simple answer, much like how some fights have an obvious outcome. But in comics, that doesn't always end up the way things really go. Sometimes the underdog wins for whatever plot-related reason. But there's also the fights that we never really thought about that get shoved into our brains and sometimes even seared. That's what we're exploring today. Let's do it. In at 10, Iron Man vs. Mr. Sensitive. Oh boy, was 2004 an interesting year, specifically because of X-Statix number 24 from August of 2004. At a very young age, Guy Smith noticed his mutant powers. His skin would easily get irritated, and he always was in tremendous pain. Guy was raised in foster care after his parents died in a mysterious fire, and he underwent extensive martial arts training and mental disciplines to try to block out the pain that he felt. Professor X was able to provide Guy with a special sensory dampening suit, which didn't do anyone much good here, because in the context of this story, Tony and Mr. Sensitive are about to fight at what is aptly named the Church of Naked Truth, which was a church used by a cult of nudists. However, since they didn't want to offend the monks and they wanted to respect their religion, they each stripped down before the fight, laying all their cards out on the table, dare I say. Yeah, Tony throws grass at Mr. Sensitive, and that's not even a joke. He throws grass at him to hurt him because he's not wearing his suit. It's weird, dude. Why was this a thing? In at 9, Doom Above All. Doom Supreme's story history closely paralleled his mainstream counterpart's journey until a pivotal moment where he ascended to the mantle of Sorcerer Supreme, and then thusly conquered his own reality. Indulging in sadistic torment of his foes for countless years, Doom Supreme eventually wearied off his cruel game and ventured into the past with the intent to exterminate the prehistoric Avengers. Upon concluding the hunt, Doom Supreme struck a deal with Mephisto, restoring the Watcher's eye to the orb as a favor, and then satisfied, he departed to unleash his wrath upon other Earths, leaving destruction in his wake. Unbeknownst to many, Doom Supreme had clandestinely gathered and subjugated various iterations of Dr. Doom from these prehistoric Earths. Utilizing Doom the Living Planet as his formidable base, he amassed a huge army of Dooms. Poised to execute his grand design, the stage was set for an epic clash where the fate of countless realities hung in the balance. It was literally an army of Dooms. And then Doom Supreme ruthlessly carved his path towards godlike supremacy. So yeah, if you want to read that, have fun with that. God damn, that was interesting. And at 8, Squirrel Girl vs. Galactus. Okay, I mean, when there's a whole series called The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl, you're gonna kind of think that she's gonna end up on this list, okay? Because god damn, look, I know you love her, but come on. The solo series of the same name debuted in January of 2015 and ran for 8 issues and was relaunched in October of 2015 as part of Marvel's all-new, all-different branding and was published through November 2019, with 50 issues in that section, making for a total of 58. Both series were written by Ryan North, but in issue number 4 of volume 1, Squirrel Girl literally stops Galactus from coming after Earth by being friends with him. I mean, come on, you're literally unable to sit there and tell me that this shouldn't be on the list. Bro, she didn't even have to fight him, for God's sakes. That's insane. She just talked the Devourer of Worlds into not devouring a world. Come on. Plus, like I said, I know you all love Squirrel Girl, okay? I might not have been here for a while. Okay, I came back, but like, I know that much. I also know that suggesting or saying anything against the Hulk will get me mean DMs for 3 years straight, but hey, okay, at least you love Squirrel Girl. But still, her fighting Galactus is pretty ridiculous. You have to admit, okay? It's pretty freaking nuts. Yes, I made the pun. In at 7, Composite Superman. Introduced in World's Finest Comics, number 142 from June of 1964, Joseph Meek was a former high diver who had fallen on difficult times. If not for Superman's timely intervention, Meek would have perished. So, grateful for the rescue, he was offered a job by Superman at the Superman Museum, where he worked as a custodian. However, his bitterness lingered, extended by the constant reminder of Superman's achievements surrounding him. So, one fateful night while Meek was cleaning near statuettes depicting the Legion of Superheroes, a lightning bolt struck that display, somehow imbuing Meek with the combined powers of the Legionnaires. Adopting the name Composite Superman, Meek threatened to expose the hero's secret identities, which he had learned through use of his telepathic powers, unless he actually was accepted into the League. Though Superman and Batman initially struggled against Meek's overwhelming powers, they soon discover his true goal, which was world domination. While unable to defeat Meek outright, the heroes persisted, eventually realizing that his combined powers were only temporary. With this revelation, they managed to overcome Composite Superman, thwarting his bid to take over the world. But come on, fighting a person that is half you, half your friend is the weirdest thing that I think you could ever experience. Okay, if you think of something weirder, let me know. And at 6, Spider-Man vs. Kingpin. Spider-Man was in a weird place during the Civil War arc in Marvel Comics. After revealing his identity to the public, he was at odds with Tony Stark over the Superhuman Registration Act, which made Peter Parker a wanted man. On the run, Peter, Aunt May, and Mary Jane had hid in a rundown motel while he was a fugitive. However, when Kingpin hired a hitman on Spider-Man, it resulted in Aunt May accidentally being shot, leaving her critically injured. Peter would give her a blood transfusion, and while she was in a coma, he went after Wilson Fisk. Peter confronted the mob boss in prison and gave him a fate worse than death. He defeated him in front of everyone. Peter beat Kingpin to a pulp, but refused to kill him at that moment because he realized that the supervillain living with everyone knowing he can be beaten was better than ending his life. But he also mentioned that if Aunt May did die from being shot, he would come back and fill his lungs with webbing and watch him suffocate, which is incredibly dark, but also makes sense, okay? I get where he's coming from. I'm surprised he didn't say something like he would pull his face off by just like not stopping the stick of his hands against his bald head, but hey, that's just my thinking. I'm more brutal. Watching him suffocate probably feels better anyway, but like, yeah, that's messed up. Come on. I'm gonna fill your lungs with webbing. God! Venom? Halfway through into number 5, Kryptonite Chewing Gum. Yes, this is actually a thing. The Justice Buster Batsuit is a mech suit that's part of Batman's Fenrir contingency that's designed to take down the entirety of the Justice League, making its feature appearance in Batman Endgame when the Joker used his virus to warp the brains of the Justice League at the beginning of his Endgame plot. Batman was forced to use the Fenrir protocol to take out his teammates. The suit was successful in eliminating Wonder Woman, Flash, and Aquaman, but met an even match at the hands of Superman. After a lengthy fight, Superman tore through the armor and nearly killed Batman until Bruce used Kryptonite Chewing Gum to spit in Clark's face, rendering him unconscious. Come on, okay? Imagine waking up to learn that you passed out because Batman spit on your face. Like seriously, bro, please, like brush your tongue when you're brushing your teeth, okay? Your breath is absolutely lethal. Not to mention that he had miniaturized red suns for knuckles. He also had ancient Greek supernatural weaponry, super fast servers, and electromagnetic nerve trees for a sensor array. But like still, Kryptonite Chewing Gum, that's the one thing that I don't think anyone would actually believe, but it did happen. Not kidding, it happened. In at 4, versus their universe. The brothers stand as cosmic beings representing the DC and Marvel universes, symbolizing the vast multiverses that they embody. These entities possess such immense power that even the Living Tribunal and Spectre pale in comparison. While referred to as brothers, they transcend traditional family, okay? They're just cosmic beings. During the dawn of existence, the brothers encompassed the entirety of everything except for each other. This lack of individuality became intolerable, igniting a fierce conflict between the two. Their battle unleashed forces that brought about the end of creation itself, followed by a grand rebirth. In this cataclysmic cycle of renewal, the brothers were torn asunder and their existence scattered throughout the newborn universe, splintering it into a multiverse. Fragments of their existence are dispersed in all directions as the expanding universes unfolded, and through the process they lost their consciousness and sense of identity, requiring eons to recollect themselves. Literally, it's like me after I'm social for like a day. I have to recollect for eons. But yeah, they were villains in the DC and Marvel amalgam universe storyline. Spider-Man was literally fighting his universe, which is pretty ridiculous. So I think it deserves to be on the list. Getting close to the end, in at number 3, Batman vs. Hulk. Talk about one-sided fights, right? Okay, like Batman standing up to Superman is one thing, they share a universe, yeah, you can have Kryptonite Chewing Gum, whatever. But Batman and the Hulk have actually gone toe-to-toe. Surprisingly, Batman achieved the seemingly impossible feat of defeating the Hulk in the harmonious days of 1981, when DC and Marvel were on friendly terms and the concept of separate universes hadn't really emerged. They occasionally collaborated on crossover stories. One such amusing tale unfolded in DC Special Series number 26, 7, written by Len Wein and illustrated by Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. In this extraordinary encounter, Batman unexpectedly crossed paths with a rampaging Hulk. Manipulated by the Joker to view Batman as an adversary, the Hulk turned his fury towards the Caped Crusader. Batman, recognizing the immense power of his opponent, a giant green monster, he somehow still skillfully evaded Hulk's thunderous blows with every move that he could muster. And then, with calculated precision, Batman deployed a pellet of knockout gas, which was kind of disorienting the Hulk, but since he wouldn't actually, deal with it because he wasn't breathing, Batman swiftly kicked him in the stomach, okay, which ensured his victory because the Hulk had to inhale the gas. Yeah, that's right. Batman kicked the Hulk in the gut so bad, it actually made him flinch. How the actual f*** does that make any sense? Please, someone explain it to me. But ultimately, in number 2, Juggernaut Bullet. In the pages of Sins of Sinister number 1, jumps us forward a few years to see how the Marvel Universe has changed, sort of similar to how Endgame jumps 5 years into the MCU future. In a complex web of manipulation, Mr. Sinister orchestrates a grand scheme to frame the X-Men as Earth's greatest heroes, targeting anti-mutant organizations like Orkies and implicating the Avengers. Among his concerns is the formidable Thanos, who Sinister plans to neutralize with a secret weapon, a physically controlled Juggernaut. It's a freaking Juggernaut Bullet, okay? And a pivotal moment showcases a small yet powerful Juggernaut propelled through Thanos' skull via a temporal cannon crafted by Forge. The impact scatters fragments of Juggernaut's brain matter across 2 billion years of history, but the story doesn't end there. No. In Nightcrawler's number 3, set in a new timeline created by Sinister's machinations, it is revealed that most of the spirits of vengeance have departed Earth, forming their own hive of malevolence, but Banshee, bonded to a spirit of vengeance, explains to Mother Soul that they have infiltrated the mighty Galactus, driven by his insatiable hunger for revenge against those who tainted reality. Unexpectedly though, the same Juggernaut Bullet that struck Thanos and altered history now targets Galactic Ghost Rider. Over the course of 1,000 years, Juggernaut hurls through space, gaining momentum, and blows right through Galactus' entire being, and blows up a vault. It's nuts. And finally, in number 1, Archie versus Punisher. The Punisher is truly a man who never backs down and punishes those that he must, or thinks that he must, okay? And we even see this bizarrely enough reflected in his interaction with the comic of Archie Andrews. Punisher is willing to venture into all kinds of different worlds in order to apprehend a criminal, but he succeeds this time after mistaking Archie for a criminal. But that of course is too easy when you consider how, Archie's a dude. Punisher is committed to catching the evildoer and resorts to food fight tactics. Yes. And for Frank Castle, who often prefers lethal means, you bet that's a commitment. That's absolutely ridiculous. Punisher got into a food fight with Archie. That's it. Just end the video there. Like, what the hell? What the f? A food fight.